All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's on the Power. So I found some interesting photos of Kai Greene that I thought you guys might like to see. So these photos were taken around the time of Kai Greene's pro debut back in 2005. I thought these photos really exemplified, number one, the amazing genetics that Kai Greene really has, because this was really early on in his career, about 13 years ago now. And number two, they just show a really different Kai Greene in terms of appearance. He has facial hair, and he just looks like a different guy. And number three, it really shows you the work ethic of Kai Greene and how much muscle and size he has put on since 2005. Now, in 2005, his pro debut was at the New York Pro, where he placed 14th. So I don't really think a lot of people realize how long Kai Greene has been around in the pro bodybuilding scene, because I don't really think he gained much popularity until about 2009, where he won that first Arnold Classic title, and he won his first New York Pro title in 2008. But 2009 was really where a lot of people started to notice Kai Greene. And then in 2011, where he would break into that top three at the Olympia, and then he would begin his rivalry with Phil Heath, placing second multiple times, that's when he really took off in popularity. But I don't think a lot of people realize Kai Greene has been around for 13 years on the pro circuit. And back then, he looked much different than he looked now. So I wanted to make a video kind of showing his transformation from these very early pictures to how he looks at some of his recent shows, including the 2014 Olympia, the 2016 Arnold Classic, and just the sheer amount of muscle mass and improvement he has been able to make on that physique. I think it's absolutely incredible. Now, obviously, in some of these before pictures, Kai Greene is clearly not in competition condition, but even in this condition and even this younger version of Kai Greene, you can clearly see these just elite genetics shining through. I mean, you can see the cross striations in the quads, even though he's not in contest shape. You can see the crazy bicep peak development, even though he's not in contest shape. And I think one of the biggest points of improvement that you can see in these photos is when Kai Greene turns around from the back. I mean, in some of these early back shots, he almost had a shallow-looking back. If you compare that to some of his best looks at the Olympia, I mean, he has one of the biggest, densest, craziest backs on stage. And his lower body, too, has come up tremendously. And these back shots, man, the comparison is just unreal. Plus, it's also very rare that you see a photo of Kai Greene without his trademark hair braid, especially this many photos. I thought they were really interesting. I mean, who would have ever suspected, looking at these young photos of Kai Greene, back around 2005, that we would see this guy end up becoming, arguably one of the most popular bodybuilders in the history of bodybuilding, one of the most favored underdogs in the history of the Mr. Olympia, probably one of the most popular choices as a fan favorite for an uncrowned Mr. Olympia, placing second so many times to Phil Heath, and the result continuously not being what he desired. I mean, who would have thought this guy would have been a multiple-time Arnold Classic champion? Some would say he's one of the best winners in Arnold Classic history. And Kai has repeatedly said, he thinks of bodybuilding as an art form, to where he has this opportunity to sculpt his body. It's like a canvas where he can present, this final vision on stage. And I think these pictures, these before and after comparisons, are a perfect example of how Kai Greene has been able to incredibly sculpt his body from his early days up until now. I mean, again, I said it before, but the improvements that he's been able to make are just absolutely incredible, and you can really see it in these photos. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Kai Greene's transformation. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.